everyone, welcome to the Gypsy Caravan. I'm Shan. How you doing? For today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to get the Smokey eyeliner with a pop of color. Smokey eyeliner seems to be trending at the moment, and you can do it in a neutral color or a pop of color like I have. It's really easy to do, so let's get into it. How do we start all our eye looks? By priming them. Go in, same old, you know how to do this by now. You're going to prime your eyes. I'm using Paintly with the 224 brush today. Prime your lids how you want to. Just get a primer down. It's essential. Just to set down the primer, I'm going in with an eyeshadow called Orb by MAC. It is a slightly warmer color than Brulee, if you're familiar with that. Just taking it on the same 224 brush, and I'm just setting that primer down. The reason for this is because I need the smoky eyeliner to blend out seamlessly, and by adding just a layer of eyeshadow down first, or even face powder, it will just make the rest of the eyeshadows a lot easier to blend. It will make the blend a little bit more seamless as well. Of course, going in with a Scotch tape trick, I need this liner to be super sharp and just cutthroat worthy. So get your tape down to make it super sharp. I'm then taking a 217 and some Ricepaper eyeshadow from MAC, and I'm going to use this as an all over shade for the lid into the crease. I do want the general overall color of the eye to be like a golden sort of color going into green. Those are the colors I'm doing for today. So for the innermost part of the lid, I do want it to be a white gold look rather than like a gold. So I'm using Ricepaper as my base for today to do that. Just to deepen that crease slightly and to add a little bit of dimension to the very outer corner, I have picked up the shade Soba, which is another shade from MAC. I feel like today's going to be a very MAC day, so please don't get upset with me. MAC just had all the shades I was looking for when I did this look, so I do apologize for the one brand. But taking that 217, I am just going to run Soba through the crease, and then I'm just going to blend it out and diffuse it slightly with that 224 brush. It doesn't have to be super intense and super opaque and pigmented in the crease. I just wanted a tiny bit of definition because Ricepaper is pretty much almost the same color as my skin tone, and I just needed a little bit of depth in that area. Also need a little bit of depth in that outer corner, and Soba just did it for me. Switching over to a packing brush, I am using a JH41 by Morphe with Jaclyn Hill and her Master Eye Brush collection, and I am taking the eyeshadow Gorgeous Gold by MAC. This is a very yellow undertone gold, or white gold rather, but it has a slight yellow or a shift of neon green in it. It's a very interesting color, but super pretty. And I am pushing this onto the lid because this is essentially, like I said, the color scheme that I was going for the lid area. It is also very frosty and very shimmery, so it just adds that really nice glimmer and glow to the inner part of the lid, just to open it up a little bit more, because all the dark eyeshadows will be sitting in the outer corner. So just to create a very cohesive, pulled up feline look in the eye, I'm going in with a light eyeshadow like this one. So now moving on to an angled brush, we're going to be working backwards in terms of depth of eyeshadows, and then we'll be moving forwards again, and this will all make sense when you watch the tutorial going forward. But essentially I'm taking a rainbow eyeshadow pan by Inglot. It's a trio of green eyeshadows, and I'm taking the darkest one in the pan to start with. I'm using an angled brush from MAC, a very stiff, dense angled brush, and I am just starting off or creating the wing essentially with this eyeshadow. Just get that liner down. You can go as far up as you want, as far out as you need to, as long, as thick. It's all totally up to you how you want to create your wing. Just get this color down and run it through just the outer portion or the outer third of your eye. So really just keep it in that outer corner. Don't bring it too far into the inner corner. We're going to try and keep that area open. And slowly for liquid eyeliner, using a 209 pencil brush from MAC, I am picking up another dark green eyeshadow. This is Mo Money Mo Problems from MAC. It is kind of like a swampy army khaki green, if you will. It's a beautiful eyeshadow. It is one of my favorites, and I am just using this shade and this specific brush to start smoking out that liner and to start creating a smoky effect going upwards. So you're going to blend out that very first eyeshadow along that tape to keep it nice and precise and sharp, but also just taking it up ever so slightly to start smoking it out. And this will all make sense once you start putting your eyeliner down. But essentially you do want to just diffuse these eyeshadows out into your lid and a little bit higher up than that wing that we've created, because once again we do need this to be quite smoky. So just take your time, blend in short back and forth motions, and just push the color in and then slowly diffuse, push the color in, slowly diffuse. And as you can see here, I just keep going in with my angle brush to kind of correct my eyes because I am on a lop side. I don't have a symmetrical face. We all have our own issues and insecurities. Moving on. So yeah, just keep pushing down and diffusing until you are happy with the end result. It should sort of be a case of that all the pigment and dimension and saturation of color should be in your lash line and along that tape, and then just slowly getting lighter as you diffuse and blow out that color further up along your eyeliner. The next eyeshadow we're going in with is quite a radioactive green. This is Sour Lemon by MAC if I'm not mistaken, and I'm just going to push this all over top that eyeliner. It may be very contradictory that we are putting eyeshadows down and then covering it with another eyeshadow, but trust me, this sort of build and layering of makeup is what's going to make your smoky liner just stand out and pop. So using the same brush, I'm going to do the exact same thing and just get that color down, and then switching over to a JH40, which is this really small tapered blending brush by Morphe and Jaclyn Hill. I'm slowly just diffusing this color very, very lightly towards the outer corner of the eye, but into the crease, as you can see here, if this makes sense. My describing skills are not very good today, but essentially we are just taking that color further up along the liner and then kind of higher up above it. The next shade I went in with here is Shock Factor by MAC. This is a true lime green matte eyeshadow, and I'm just going to do the exact same thing, only using the tapered brush this time, and we are just going to diffuse that color out. Essentially these last two eyeshadows that I've used is what gives this eyeshadow look its color scheme. This is where I'm getting my green from. Everything else is more just for like the liner aspect. This is for the smoke out aspect. And then I'm just going back in with some Soba in that crease, well, the outer corner crease rather, just so that we don't lose that definition there. So just build up your color as much as you want, as much as you feel you need. This is pretty much what your liner should be looking like with all the eyeshadows now. Now going in with a black liquid liner, you can go in with any black liquid liner you wish. I am using Brushstroke Black by MAC because it's my favorite. We are now just going to create a normal wing liner. Keep it tight in your lash line. Pull this from the very inner corner of your eye right out into the outer corner, but keep the wing quite small. As I say, we want all the colors to be very dimensional and very gradient on the eye. So if you do a really big black solid liquid wing, it kind of loses the effect and the dramatic finish of the eye. So by keeping the black quite tight in the lash line and keeping it in a small extension of a wing, you're not going to lose the effect of the smokiness of the eyeliner. So make sure you keep everything tight, very precise, and this is what the liquid liner should look like when you are done. Just a simple wing, nothing too difficult, and that tape is there to help you and guide you at the same time. Going back in with our angled brush, I'm picking up a little bit of Carbon, which is a matte black eyeshadow, and I am just going to smoke out that liquid liner with this eyeshadow, and you can see immediately how it just creates this really beautiful smoked out liner effect. I really enjoy doing this. You can also use a black pencil eyeliner if you don't have a liquid one. The blendability of a pencil will also give you the exact same effect, but essentially what we want to do is we just want to mute down that eyeliner slightly. We literally just use the black pen for opacity and saturation of color, and now we're going to smoke it out with a black eyeshadow, and this is where the look really starts to pull together and come together. I picked up a little bit of that Mo Money More Problems on a pencil brush, just to smoke out that tail a tiny bit more. The black was just a touch too intense for me, I think, in this moment, and I just wanted to bring back a little bit of that green. So again, these are one of the makeup tutorials where you just kind of have to eyeball it for yourself. I can give you all the tips and tricks and colors and brushes and techniques that you need, but at the end of the day, it's up to you how much color and how much texture you want to put down on your eye. Here is where I'm going in with some of that shock factor and just bringing that green a little bit further up above the liner. It essentially is supposed to be a thick line at the end of the day, but it's supposed to be like really smoky and diffused and blown out. So like I said, eyeball it and blow it out as far up as you want to go and make the color as intense as you want it. Okay, so I was pretty happy with the final look of my eyes here, so I'm just pulling off the tape because now we can move on to doing the rest of the face and also completing the rest of the eye look. Moving on to lashes, I do feel like false lashes are essential for today's look, so I am just going to give my lashes a bit of a curl. I'm just using an ordinary eyelash curler from Clicks Beauty. Whatever eyelash curler you have, go for it. If you don't have an eyelash curler, that's okay. You can just move on to mascara from here. My go-to mascara for false eyelashes is the Extended Play Gigiblack Lash by MAC, just because it's super black. It spaces out my lashes perfectly, it defines them, it coats every single lash the way I need it to be coated, and so that when I do apply lashes there aren't any weird gaps or different colored lashes, like my lashes don't match the false lash. I feel like this is just my go-to mascara for when I want to apply false lashes, so I'm just coating my lashes in this, top and bottom of course. Okay, so now it's time to apply lashes, and there we go. I have applied the Wispies by Ardell. I did trim them this time, but it still looks a little bit weird because my eyes are two different shapes, of course. I can never actually win with my face. I'm just at a constant lopside, I guess. It's so strange. Anyway, moving on. I am priming my face with the Revlon Rose Glow Rose Quartz Primer. I absolutely cannot stand this primer. I do not like the pump that comes with it, but I'm not about to waste product, so I am just using it to get rid of it, girl. It's not my favorite. If you like it, great. I can't deal with it. I don't know what it is. The only nice thing I do like about this primer is that it has really good grip. It's really tacky, and that's about it. For foundation today, I'm just going in with the skin tint. I am using the Huda Beauty and Glowish Multi-Dew Skinfinish. This is not really my shade. It is a little bit darker than I am right now, but I kind of forgot that and went in with it in any case. So here we are, just cruising through life with the wrong foundation shade. But anyway, it is a little too dark for me, but I'm not using a lot, so it's okay. I can correct this, it's fine. I'm just stippling this in with a 188 brush. I'm doing a minimal lightweight skin finish just because the eyes are really heavy to me. So if the eyes are the focal point of my face, I do like to pull my skin back drastically and like keep my skin looking really fresh and dewy and just natural-ish looking, and really letting my eyes just do the talking on the face. I'm also just going to go in with a damp beauty sponge. This is the Real Techniques one, and I am just going to push this product in and just pick up any excess if there is any. You can see the color has oxidized now totally, and it is just absolutely not my shade, but you know what, it's fine, whatever, we're just going to make it work. I'll add concealer, okay? But this used to match my skin when I was a little bit more tan, so yeah, it's not, yeah, you can see it's just not matching. Moving on. Keeping the concealer games light, I'm going in with the Isabella Garcia Eyelights Concealer and Highlighter. It is a ridiculously sheer concealer. It actually doesn't conceal shit, but I really like it when I do want to do something a little bit more natural, because it is very color correcting for my skin tone, my skin type, my skin color. So this is a little bit lighter than the foundation or skin tint as well. So when I do blend this out, it's just going to lift that area underneath my eyes slightly and just creates a slight brightening effect. But with it being so super lightweight and sheer as well, it's not going to add or cake up any product underneath my eyes. It's just going to keep the skin looking really fresh and really dewy. I'm then just taking a translucent powder by L'Oreal to just smooth out my under eye area, and also just to set certain aspects of my face, like my concealer, so it doesn't crease or anything like that. I'm also going to set my nose just because I get really oily there, and because I have really large pores, I just want to like minimize those slightly. So just taking my damp beauty blender and some of that translucent powder, I am just going to roll that underneath my eyes. It's kind of like baking, but not really. The dampness of the sponge is just going to act as a smoothing agent for underneath the eyes and just create a really soft focus effect in that area, whilst setting everything, of course. So now everything we have done on the top lid, we are now going to transfer to underneath our eyes, and this is what it should look like when you are done. Essentially all I did was I took all the dark eyeshadows, ran them very close underneath the lash line, and then just diffused those darker eyeshadows out with the lighter eyeshadows and just brought it down slightly, connecting it to that upper wing so that we have a nice gradient underneath the eye as well, keeping the inner corner open and available for highlighter later. I wanted to be a little bit extra today and do a colored mascara on the bottom lashes, so I'm just using this Avon Color Shock mascara to do that. It's a little bit darker than the eyeshadows that I have, but also a little bit lighter than some of the eyeshadows I have, so it was really just there for like an extra pizzazz of color, and just because I had the mascara and hardly wear green eyeshadow anymore, so I just wanted to add it because it was cute. Then going in with some Give Me Sun by MAC and a 140 fan powder brush, I am just lightly bronzing my face. I'm not going to be doing my forehead. I'm mainly just concentrating this around my cheeks and under my chin, because I normally pull my hair forward these days because I have curtain bangs again, so there really is no point in contouring my face because my bangs do that for me now. So bronze your skin with whatever you have. Just get a really nice bronzer going through the face just to warm up the face. I'm then going in with an oldie but a goodie. I haven't used this in so long. This is the Mineralize Blush Warm Soul. It is a beautiful pinky bronzy sort of blush and just amazing with green eyeshadow, I feel. So you can go in with any blush you have. I'm going in with this one, and I'm just applying it to my cheeks and to my nose using my Smashbox Buildable Cheek Brush. I really am loving the blush bronzer situation around the nose. So now for highlighter, I'm actually going in with an eyeshadow. This is Nylon by MAC. I'm using that 224 brush to run it through my brow bone just to highlight there. The reason why I'm going in with Nylon is because it's super intense, it's super bright, but it is a yellow undertone highlighter or eyeshadow, if you will, so it blends in with the color scheme of my eye ridiculously well. It is a white, technically a white-ish eyeshadow, but it has a really nice cohesive white gold shimmer or shift to it. So as you can see, I'm applying it here now with a JH42 mini shader brush. You can see it just gives the eye that beam of highlighter, but it's so cohesive with the rest of the eye look that it just ties everything in together because of the undertone of Nylon. It is just incredible, and you can layer this over a different color eyeshadow, and it will really just make that eyeshadow stand out and pop and turn that eyeshadow into a highlighter. It's my favorite trick, and I used to do this at MAC all the time when I wanted to do like an inner corner pop of color, but wanted it to like stand out like a highlighter. I would add Nylon over everything. It is just the bomb. You need it in your life. Going back in with a 224 brush, I'm actually going to use Nylon to highlight my face. I'm doing a very precise highlighter, as you can see here, otherwise I would have gone in with a bigger brush, but I'm just going to use Nylon to highlight the extreme high points on my face. So right at the top of that cheekbone, down the center of my nose, the tip of my nose, tip of my cupid's bow, just bringing in that light in very specific areas. As far as I'm aware, the new trend at the moment is called halo highlighting, and essentially it just means placing highlighter in the very precise high points of the face so that you have this overall glow rather than just like a streak of highlighter on your face, if you know what I'm saying. Both highlighting techniques look beautiful. Both highlighting techniques work for anybody, for any skin tone, for any face shape. It's just all about what you want to do for your face for that day and what you feel works for your makeup look that day. Heading straight on up into brows, I'm just taking my spoolie and brushing my brows backwards. For such an intense look like this, and with the rest of the face drastically pulled back, I'm going to keep my brows super natural as well. So I'm going in with my Shape and Shade Brow Tint by MAC in the shade Fling. I'm using the eyeshadow side just to push that back into the hairs. I am not actually physically touching my face or the skin underneath the brows. I'm literally just brushing the hairs back. Basically what this is going to do is it's going to coat the hairs, it's going to thicken them up slightly, it's going to tint them so that the eyebrows give the illusion that they've been filled in, been defined, and that they are a little bit thicker than what they are. I do already have, fortunately, thickish brows, so it won't take a lot of product for me, but if you want to do a more defined brow, depending on your brow type and shape, you're more than welcome to do that. I just wanted to keep my brow super natural. So after I've done that, I'm just going to take my spoolie brush again and just brush everything the correct way and just brush that eyeshadow waxy product through and make sure that my brows are brushed up and ready to take on some brow gel. I do prefer a brushed up brow these days. That's just my personal preference. I do define brows, but brushed up brows seem to be my thing at the moment. Now going in with some NYX brow gel. This is the Thick It Stick It brow mascara. I'm in the shade Taupe, 01 Taupe, something like that. And I'm just going to use this to set my brows in place and to brush them up in that brushed up shape. I am pushing this right up against my skin for the fact that I need my brows to stay in that shape for a while. If you just brush this through the hairs and don't actually physically push them against your skin, they aren't really going to stay up because, as we all know, thick bushy brows are quite heavy, so they do tend to fall flat. So make sure you are pushing those brows up right up against your face and brushing that product through just to give them a little bit more thickness and dimension. I really like this brow gel because it has brow fibers in them, so those get attached to your brows, which just gives the illusion that your brows are a lot thicker and fluffier, which I really enjoy. Then just to fill in the missing gappies, I'm just using the felter pen side of that brow tint and just filling in the little gaps, extending the tails of my brows, and just overall defining my brows slightly so that they just look a little bit fluffier and a little bit more micro-bladed fine, if that makes sense. I had a little look overall of my face just before finishing and I felt like something was missing, so I am just putting down a cream color shimmer. This is by the Sir John and Woolworths Beauty cream color palette, sorry. And I'm just adding that pearl shade on top of my lid because it just felt like something was missing and it wasn't quite giving what I wanted. So by adding this cream color base down with the chunky glitter in, it just completed the look and I was just so happy with the end result of this. I'm actually so glad I went in with it because it just ties everything in and it just gives it that extra like level of glam. I'm also going to be pushing this in on top of that nylon highlighter on my face just for like an added bit of extra glow. The shimmer particles are really chunky and you can feel the grit when you are applying it, but it's just such a beautiful product to work with. This is like one of my favorite cream color palettes and it just works for everything. For the lips today, I'm keeping everything redonkulously simple and just going in with a lip plumping gloss. This is by Buxom. It's their lip polish and I'm using the shade Samantha. It's just a neutral, almost clearish sort of lip gloss with tiny little gold reflex in it, and of course the gold reflex just tie in with the rest of the look, and I just feel like this is the most feminine, prettiest way to end off a super dramatic look like this. It's just stunning and there's no need for lipstick and lip liners every single time you do your makeup. A simple gloss like this will just do the trick. So this is the completed look. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you try this out for yourself. Thank you so much for watching today's tutorial. I really appreciate the support from you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and follow me on all my social media platforms. I have linked everything in this video. I've also linked everything down below. I do list everything in my video, but if I missed something or you missed the listing in the video, I do have everything listed down below as well. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye!